Hello and welcome. It has been a year in wait, months of planning, and weeks of orchestration, all for this very day. And it is the day that marks the beginning of Cutting Edge 2022. It's back, bigger, bolder, and better than ever before.
Hello, and a very good morning to all those that have tuned in. I hope you're doing well. I'm Lenmini Thiruhena.
And I'm Ranudhi Kumarwadu.
We'll be your host for this morning. Before we get on with the show, let me give you some background information on the event. Cutting Edge is an annual event organized by the Informatics Institute of Technology intended to showcase innovative projects and solutions brought forward by the students and also provide them industrial education by bringing them closer to industry experts.
The slew of content lined up would certainly aid the students to hone their skills, from inspirational interviews to engaging webinars and compelling panel discussions, whilst also simultaneously providing the students a platform to showcase their innovative ideas.
Now, it's no secret that our country is currently navigating through a very challenging phase, especially when it comes to the economic front. Daunting as a task of rekindling our country's economy may seem, it is very much within the realms of possibility. Therefore, the theme of this year is Rising Above the Crisis, a fusion of technology and business.
The world is still very much under the influence of the pandemic. Although not as severely as before, its presence is still felt. Adding to this, the current state of affairs in our country, the university thought it best to conduct Cutting Edge virtually this year as well. As you can imagine, orchestrating a week-long online event is not really an easy feat. But honestly, after 2 consecutive years of running things online, we felt like we were up to the task of doing it one more time. This event wouldn't have been possible had it not been for the collective effort of all those who worked tirelessly to see the event turn out well.
Though we may have shifted to virtual space, long-standing traditions must be still adhered. We warmly invite the following dignitaries to light the oil lamp.
Dr. Gamini Vikramasinghe, the chairman of Informatics Group.
Ms. Kishani Pereira, director of IIT and Informatics Group.
Mr. Mohan Fernando, CEO of IIT.
Our chief guest, Dr. Peter Bonfield, Vice Chancellor and President of University of Westminster.
Ms. Naomi Krishnaraja, Dean of the Computing Faculty.
Professor P.S.M. Gunaratna, Dean of Business Faculty.
Professor Nihal Kodikara, Head of Department Computing.
Mr. Austin Naskaran, Head of Department Business.
Mr. S.S. Velihinda, Director of Operations.
Mr. Ashfaq Ahmed, Head of Marketing.
Mr. Prasan Yapa, Chairperson.
Mr. Thibian Karuneshwaran, Student Committee Chair.
Thank you very much. Moving swiftly along, we would now like to invite Mr. Mohan Fernando, the CEO of IIT, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning. Welcome to Cutting Edge 2022, the most awaited event of the IIT calendar. As you know, IIT is known for its research competence, and Cutting Edge is the biggest showdown of all the research work of all batches, especially the final years. And this year, very aptly put as rising above the crisis, was no small feat. Albeit all the adversities going around, team has been able to put another great show. Benefit of the students, benefit of the industry, and those who are coming and participating next 3 days. So I welcome all of you to come and witness this great show. What IIT is about and what our students are capable of. It's not only their technical abilities, but also ability to put together such a show, organizing from A to Z, every detail of it, which makes IIT graduates different from the average. Welcome on board and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the insightful comments, sir.
Now, this year's Cutting Edge would not have been possible had it not been for our sponsors' partnerships. We would like to take this moment to thank them all. Platinum sponsors, Circles Life,
WSO2, Creative Software,
LOLC Technologies,
Fortitude,
Vestoria,
Millennium IT ESP,
Crystal Systems,
Azen Technologies,
1 Billion Technology,
99X Technologies Innovation Partner,
Informatics Business Progression Partner.
our gold sponsors,
Eternum Lanka Private Limited,
CodeGen,
silver sponsor,
Virtusa,
Our certificate partner, DPro.
thank you again for all your support.
Unfortunately, due to an unavoidable circumstance, our chairman, Dr. Gamini Wickramasinghe, was unable to make it today. But he was generous enough to share a message with us. Technology is a seed corn for the bountiful harvest of modern day industries. The graduates of IIT are equipped like blades, cutting through the unknown and unimagined to produce resilient, enterprising individuals, dynamic enough to face the evolving technological future. Amidst the turmoil created by COVID and the challenging economic times Sri Lanka is faced with, we at IIT are proud to rise above the crisis in presenting to you our annual event, Cutting Edge, displaying the talents of our students. Today's technological advancements are in an economic Olympics, a race that is advancing rapidly. IIT graduates blossom out to become the torchbearers who will present the future of Sri Lanka in the advancing IT and business sectors by keeping up with the global competition. IIT believes in producing leaders of tomorrow who can keep pace with ever-evolving futures. A special note of appreciation goes out to our sponsors whose generous contribution enabled this event to come into fruition this year too. I thank the organizing committee led by the final year students for making the Cutting Edge a success amidst all challenges and showed yet again Team IIT can rise above the crisis.
So, I think it's about time we moved on to the entertainment segment. This bit would be conducted by the IIT choir, who, despite the difficult conditions of the country, have gathered here today to entertain everyone. And without further ado, introducing the IIT choir, Vocal Impact.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be. And I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and stay a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There's no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Thank you very much for that brilliant show. We are all very grateful for the effort that you put in and are truly happy that you're part of this event. Moving on, we'd like to invite our chief guest, Dr. Peter Bonfield, the Vice Chancellor and President of the University of Westminster, to speak a few words.
Hello, my name's Peter Bonfield and I'm Vice-Chancellor and President here at the University of Westminster in London. Today I'm speaking to you from our Harrow campus in North London, which is where our creatives, our innovators come together to produce the most amazing products, services, ideas that make the world a better place. I want to congratulate each and every one of you for getting engaged in Cutting Edge 2022. It is fantastic that your innovation, your ideas, that inspiration you have, you've brought into this competition. Congratulations. Particularly, of course, because you've had COVID to cope with and also all the economic challenges that are present in Sri Lanka. So even more than ever, you deserve special commendation for your involvement and engagement in Cutting Edge 2022. We're so hugely proud of our partnership with IIT, now 17 years old. And you're studying there at the moment with your 3,000 or so contemporaries at IIT Colombo. Here in London, there's an additional 21,500 or so students who are really finding their own way of making a difference in the world with that incredible and unique Westminster way of doing things. So, hearty congratulations to each and every one of you. Doing this type of thing is what helps you stand out from the crowd. It positions you really well and sets you up for the world of employment. So again, heartiest congratulations, and I wish you all success and all happiness for the future.
Thank you, Dr. Bonfield, for those thoroughly illustrative words.
Before moving on, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Building a digital product is complex, demanding, uncertain. And that's where we come in. We're a group of creative thinkers, digital product specialists, dreamers, and team players. With over 15 years in the industry, 400 innovators, 50 awards, building over 150 digital products for our global customers. We engage in your awesome idea and help bring it to life. 99X, creating impactful digital products together.
Now, we'd like to invite Thivian Karuneswaran, the Student Committee Chair of Cutting Edge 2022, to talk a little bit about this undertaking.
Good morning to everyone who has joined us today. I am Thivian Karuneswaran, the Student Chair of Cutting Edge 2022. I am extremely enjoyed to be involved in Cutting Edge 2022. And Cutting Edge, as all of you may be already aware, has been one of the most important annual events in the IIT's calendar. It should be said that this was a great event organized to enrich the students' lives by showcasing the innovations of them and to reward the painstaking effort by giving them a higher stage to dazzle. Cutting Edge 2022 is conducted virtually, and I must say that this is the third consecutive Cutting Edge program to be held online, due to various situations raised in the country. As both the prior Cutting Edge programs garnered a massive success, I hope that we can uphold this success for the Cutting Edge 2022 too. As the main program of this annual event, Project Competition takes the limelight. With many teams participating this year, the Project Competition shines the spotlight on the innovative ideas of the students and evaluates these projects in a competitive way. As the competition is held online, everyone is welcome to visit our site, which is to be launched soon, and see the projects which are the results of brainstorming of students studying in various programs in IIT. We also have in store gaming competitions, poster competitions, and the ITV that involves panel discussions, talk shows, webinars, and entertainment events. Both lecturers and the students have worked hard to organize this massive event, which will be held for 5 consecutive days. With massive workload, everyone did their best to ensure that this project is a success. With such a great team, I felt really gratified while organizing this event. It was an immense pleasure to organize Cutting Edge 2022, and I hope everyone will enjoy this event at your heart's content to make Cutting Edge 2022 a success. Without further ado, I hereby welcome all of you to the Cutting Edge 2022 and hope you all enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful speech.
With that, let's move on to the launch of the Cutting Edge website. Before we launch it, let us give you a brief rundown on the purpose of the website. It would allow people everywhere at any time of day or night to keep tabs on the developments of Cutting Edge 2022. This includes information on projects done by students of IIT, idea pitches, live stream of gaming competition, the coding competition, leaderboard, additional information pertaining to the events, and much more. So, without further ado, let us launch this website.
The website is accessible via cuttingedge.iit.ac.lk. The website comprises of all the information that are relevant to Cutting Edge 2022. You will be able to watch live streams, live webinars by clicking on the options given here. The first section describes the project showcase, and also it provides a gallery of pictures from previous years. And also you will be able to check out some previous projects under this section. The second section describes the structure of the coding competition and the eligibility criteria. If you want to find more details, simply click on the Check Out More button. The following section describes about the gaming competition. If you want more details about it, simply click on the More Details button. Information regarding the webinars can be found in this section. In case if you want to check out the sponsors, you may navigate to the bottom of the website. If you want to check out the projects from the project competition, simply click on the projects menu item. You can view all the projects by navigating over the page. If you want to filter these projects by categories, you may use the category navigation. You will be able to categorize these projects by years, faculties, and different project types. If you want to find out more details regarding a project, just simply click on it. And this page provides you all the information with regard to the project. If you want to nominate a project for the Most Popular Award, you may use the Vote Now option. If you want to check out the details with regard to the other competition, you can use this menu item. This page consists of all the information with regard to the coding competition, and you will be able to see the descriptions, rounds and the prices, and the rules and regulations with regard to the coding competition. If you want to check out more details regarding the gaming competition, you may click on the gaming competition menu item from the main navigation, and that will take you to the gaming competition page. So in this page, you will be able to find out all the information that are relevant to the gaming competition, and you will be able to find all the information regarding the available games. Also, you will be able to find out the draws and schedules and the results in this page. If you want to check out the draws and schedules, you may click on the link given under each game.
Right. That was a pretty comprehensive rundown of the Cutting Edge website. Do remember to visit the page to witness innovative ideas the students have come up with, the coding competition, or even the gaming competition.
Before we wrap things up, we'd like to extend our sincerest appreciation for all those that work behind the scenes tirelessly, day and night, to make sure that Cutting Edge 2022 becomes a resounding success.
We'd like to thank the overall program team,
The secretarial team,
the project competition team,
the gaming competition team,
the coding competition team,
the industrial engagement team,
the web development team,
the ITB team,
the design team,
the marketing team,
the IT and infrastructure team,
the finance team,
the souvenir team,
the certificate team,
the webinar team.
the opening and closing ceremony team.
Finally, we'd like to thank all the volunteers and everyone that was instrumental in setting up Cutting Edge 2022.
We're almost at the very end of our program, but before we wind up, let us all rise for the IIT anthem sung by our very own choir.
Let us get together to show the world around us we are brothers and sisters who are there for one another and will always be together. One day we will lead the way with memories of friendship, stand together for eternity. Per Concordium Rover, per Concordium Rover, per Concordium Rover. and together for eternity. Per concordium robur, per concordium robur, per concordium robur, per concordium robur.
That concludes the opening ceremony. Do show your support by tuning in on this week-long experience from the 23rd to the 27th of August. And that's it from us, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the shows that we have lined up for you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to an exciting segment. I'm your host for today, Ranadi Kumarwadu. But before I get into it, let me tell you a bit about IIT. So since its establishment in 1990, it has constantly seen an upward momentum. And for the past few years, it has been Miss Naomi Krishnaraja who has been tasked with steering it. So under her guidance, the university has gone from strength to strength, and this is none more the evident than right now when our country finds itself in the worst crisis in ages. Yet here at IIT, nothing seems to have affected its goal of providing quality education. And with that, allow me to introduce our guest speaker for today, the Dean of IIT, Miss Naomi Krishnaraja herself. So thank you very much, madam, for being kind enough to grace this interview. The first question we have for you today, ma'am, is having witnessed many years of cutting edge in your eyes, how has cutting edge evolved over the years?
Yeah, so in the beginning, cutting edge used to be a physical event which was held at IIT, and the students used to transform the institute. So once the institute was like they had built the different floors to reflect different industrial ages, starting from the Stone Age. And when we walked in one day to IIT, we found a big cave as we entered into the building. And from there, it evolved to different floors, reflecting creativity and the thought processes of the students. And every year it has been like that. Then, of course, we went beyond IIT because we couldn't hold the number of projects. So we had to move outside to the BMICH to have the event. And then, of course, the last 3 years, it has been online. And that means having an event online means it goes beyond the national boundaries. And we were able to have a lot of international researchers, people from different universities watching this event. So it went beyond having it first at IIT, to having it outside of IIT, to having it going beyond the national boundaries of IIT.
Thank you, ma'am. So what are your expectations from Cutting Edge this year?
So as each year, we see students' creativity and innovation. That's what students are. They are supposed to have creative thinking behind them. They are passionate about various things. And normally through Cutting Edge, they bring out their talents in an IT or a business solution. And these solutions are very, very well thought over a period of time. And it's amazing to see how over the years these ideas still students come up with creative and innovative ideas. And that is the expectation at Cutting Edge, to see what the students' thoughts are and how they have evolved.
So thank you, ma'am. And as you mentioned before, we've gone from having the event from IIT to BMICH and now virtually. So has conducting the event virtually made an impact on the students' projects in your perspective?
Yes, so obviously with the innovation in technology, projects have evolved, because today more and more innovations have been introduced, and we see things which were not there maybe a decade ago or 2 decades ago. So technology has evolved, practices have evolved. So even students' projects have evolved. But we see the same thing, that a student comes up with a creative idea, he works over a period of time, and the one who perseveres hard comes out with a great solution. So here we see that perseverance is there behind every successful student. And over the years, students have been persevering. Previous solutions were outstanding then, and now technology has evolved. And with the evolution, students have come up with even amazing projects this year as well.
Thank you, ma'am. And before we continue our discussion further, let's go into a small commercial break.
Building a digital product is complex, demanding, uncertain. And that's where we come in. We're a group of creative thinkers, digital product specialists, dreamers, and team players. With over 15 years in the industry, 400 innovators, 50 awards, building over 150 digital products for our global customers. We engage in your awesome idea and help bring it to life. 99X, creating impactful digital products together.
Welcome back, viewers. Today we have our Dean with us, Ms. Naomi Krishnaraja. So continuing our discussion further, Ms. Naomi, online education has become the new normal. So do you think it's here to stay? And what is your opinion about it in the long run?
Yeah, online education has its strengths, where students can learn from their comfort, from their homes. Obviously, there are some limitations where peer learning and things like that needs to evolve. So with online learning, like technology evolved over a period of time, there is a lot of learning curves in online education. It has come to stay, obviously, but there is a lot of improvement to be made in that, to make that even more productive.
So as you mentioned, ma'am, online education is again a learning curve. So what would your advice be for those students engaged in online education?
Yes, so they'll have to treat it as treat online course like a real learning course. So coming to a class and learning, you'll have to learn to adapt, right? And you have to hold yourself accountable, because in online learning, you can decide not to go for the class, switch off the computer and sleep. I think each student has to hold themselves accountable. Also, they need to practice time management, how to manage my time, because online can be long hours, it can be tiring, there are so many other things, you can get distracted. And you have to create regular study spaces and stay organized, and obviously eliminate any distractions that come out. And you have to figure out how you learn best, right? Sometimes it might be late in the night hours, so whichever time, you have to make that time. And of course, on the online classes, you have to actively participate, not thinking, oh, this is just an online class and let me sit back and listen. But if you actively participate, then you become part and parcel and build on your network. You have to leverage on it. Most of the time, you have a network of friends. When it's physical, it's easy to make friends, but online you think, oh, do I have to make friends? It's easy for me to be in isolation. But if you want to make online learning experience successful, you have to leverage on your network of friends.
So thank you, ma'am, for that insightful advice on online education. And before we proceed into the next set of questions, let's go on to a short commercial break. Welcome back, viewers. We have our dean with us today, Miss Naomi Krishnaraja, discussing various views on the cutting edge competition as well as online learning. So continuing our discussion further. So ma'am, having seen hundreds of students graduate from IIT and many changes taking place in the industry, what are the top skills you feel students should possess both today and in the years to come?
Yeah, so one is there are several skills that the students need to keep up in order to stay ahead of the game, right? If we go on, we can list a number of them. But just to pick up a few, is always students' ability to acquire knowledge. Because when you go into the industry, you might not be practicing everything which you learned in the classroom. So you're taught basic principles, but when you go out, you need to use that basic principles to adapt to new technologies, new skills. So that is to become self-learning, and also developing your, I think, communication skills is another important skill, right? So that even as a software developer, you can communicate with a client, even as other roles, it can be marketing, it can be anything. Your communication skills is very important. And also analytical skills, to be able to analyze situations, to be able to solve problems, because when you go into the industry, you will need to do that, right? And obviously, your theoretical skills which you picked up in the university is very important, but you should be able to adapt that to different environments. So when environments change, you might not use the same theoretical skills, but there might be other skills which you will acquire as you go on your journey. So one is to learn the basics properly, but to be able to acquire new skills. You shouldn't have to think, can I do this? Will I be able to do this? That doubt and fear shouldn't be there. So you should be very bold, you should be courageous, should know that everyone goes through a cycle of learning, and on the way I might make mistakes, but still I should be ready to embrace new challenges.
Thank you, ma'am. And what do you think about the sudden change in the job market? And amidst the economic crisis, everybody's job security is at stake. So do you have any advice for those students to thrive in today's competitive job market?
Yes. So keep on. There are some students, even previous years, some students did not get a job immediately. They persevered, right? Till they got a job, they would watch interviews of others, how to face an interview, right? There are great leaders whom you can follow. You can watch various tech talks. You can learn additional skills, prepare yourself. Don't think it's wasting time, because once it goes on till you retire. So make the best use. I think there are so many courses, new courses which you can learn online, Coursera. There are so many things you can prepare yourself, develop your communication skills. Obviously, in the IT field, there are enough jobs. And if you find it difficult, don't give up. Keep persevering. Even if you get mediocre, don't look at the salary. You pick up a job that you get first and develop your skills, because salary increases will come along the way as you perform. Most students think, okay, if I don't get a big salary, I'll join the job. So don't put the salary in front. You must have a very flexible attitude. You must always think, I can make it, and you just persevere in what you're good at, develop your strengths. Obviously, there are some weaknesses. Some of us may have weaknesses, time management, or there are other areas in which you might lack. Try to develop those, but don't wait for the perfect job. Whatever comes your way, get into it, and then from there you can find out other avenues and thrive in whatever you are doing. Whatever you're doing, do your best, give your best, because then even your boss or whoever would like to keep you in that position because you're 100%. Don't say that there is power cut or there is this problem and I can't do it. Give your best, your 100%, and your payoff will come. I think patience, perseverance, commitment is important in difficult times like this, and don't give up.
Thank you for those inspiring words, ma'am. So getting back into the topic of IIT, would you be able to give us some insight for the future plans you have for the Institute, and where do you see it in the years to come?
Yeah, so where do we see IIT? IIT at the moment is an institute that produces graduates who have strong technical skills, to go out and perform well in the industry. Want to continue to be that, to produce graduates who will find outstanding positions in the industry and who will contribute not only to the local industry but internationally. And so therefore, we have always been offering a wide range of courses which are relevant: software engineering, computer science. Recently, we started introducing this course on artificial intelligence and data science, and few more courses are in the pipeline which we want to introduce. So we also have master's courses in big data analytics, cybersecurity and forensics, advanced software engineering, MSc in IT for those who have no proper IT background. So always we target courses which will help build individuals and become productive in the industry. So that will continue, so that we will be able to introduce even a greater portfolio of courses and help students and graduates further their courses, because some who finish their undergraduate like to do postgraduate studies, but again, to contribute to the industry. So our goal is to produce students who will be productive and contribute to a nation and to the world at large.
Right, thank you, ma'am. So as you know, there might be a lot of students who would like to join IIT in the near future. So what can newcomers expect to find here at IIT that they can't anywhere else?
So what IIT provides is sound education, right? Our focus is on education. That is number one priority. And of course, we provide a one-year placement opportunity, which helps you to develop skills in the industry as well, and to figure out what career paths you would like to take in the future. Also, our curriculum provides a lot of practical experience, right? It's not only theory, it's an applied course. And so it has value, and also we groom students to come up with creative projects like in Cutting Edge. So each of them in the second year, in the final year, work on projects which help them to achieve their goals. And some of them have even taken their own projects and moved on to have their own startups. Some, of course, have gained these skills, and these skills have helped them in the industry. So the practical nature of the course and the creativity and the talent that is in a student is developed through the 4 years. So there are a wide variety of activities which the students should take. There are clubs and societies. So we try to ensure that the student is a rounded student. He takes part in a wide variety of things, so that he's not just a bookworm who is just sitting in front of the book, but also he takes part, in other activities, so that he can become a very productive citizen in the country.
So thank you, ma'am, for that insight. And I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. So thank you very much, madam, for taking the time out of your day to participate in this interview. I, for one, are very grateful for the insights you've shared with us today, and I'm sure those watching us online are just as grateful. So viewers, we've come to another great session. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more items brought to you by the ITV.
Hello and welcome to the show. It is no secret that our country's economy is on the teetering edge, as we all know about it. But we aren't truly illiterate in economics or finance or truly comment on it. My guest today, however, he's been the Dean of the Faculty of Management and Finance at the University of Colombo and now serves as its Senior Finance Professor, as well as the Dean, Faculty of Business of IIT. Please welcome Professor PSM Gunaratna.
Thank you for introduction.
It's my pleasure to have you on the show, sir. Without any further delays, let's get into the show. What was the reason for your choice to pursue finance? Was there a specific event that served as the trigger?
It's an interesting question. The time I graduated, there was no big finance sector in Sri Lanka. In fact, that was the time Sri Lankan economy was opened up in 1977. We graduated in early 80s. Because I saw that something, even that number of finance module that taught us in universities was very limited. We didn't have experts in finance at that time. So, but the only thing, after getting into the academia, with the first degree per se, there is no big specialization. So that's what the generic business administration degree, where I did everything balancedly, like marketing to finance to HR to everything. But when I started my postgraduate career, first MBA in Colombo, that I thought of this is an interesting field. I started reading. Those days we didn't have internet or anything. I used to go to maybe American Center, British Council, found materials and all that. There I thought that those countries the finance field is taking up. And also that in Sri Lanka also stock market started listing new companies, and then the new businesses are opening up. I thought that the world of finance is interesting, so that I thought that to do my research, MBA research in finance. So that is the first start. Then later on, I got an opportunity, maybe the Japanese government scholarships, to go to Japan to do my PhD and the MSc. Again, I did. There also I specialized. That was a wonderful market, financial market, because the Tokyo Stock Exchange, one of the largest stock exchange. All my research was related to that maybe stock market and that data series and all that. So with that was how I became a finance professor.
That sounds amazing journey. So adding to my previous question, what made you continue in the field of finance?
Yeah, that's when in the universities, when you join as a academic initial stage, maybe your head of department will ask you to teach that in this and that and all that. But over the years, when you specialize something maybe especially the postgraduate career help you to specialize something further and further. So then you limit your teaching and research into that field. Because that, as I told you, that in Japan I got a big foundation for the finance, because all my research career was related to the financial market. So when I on my return, that I was one of the maybe I don't think that at that time there were no PhDs in Sri Lanka in finance. So that on my return, so I was in demand, that I was asked to do visiting lectures in different places other than my university. So then I started doing and teaching finance related subject, or maybe developing new courses in finance related subject. Maybe the Colombo University was the university where I served, that in the portfolio management, investment management, that type of subject. I think for the first time we introduced in Colombo University to Sri Lanka. So that's how then students used to come to me, do their research supervisions and all that. So that throughout I did my research and all that in finance field.
Okay, sir. Now the world of finance, much like other sectors, has been readily embracing the digital age. What I mean is the rapid of software capable of analyzing and forecasting. What do you make of this? Is it good or is it bad?
Before going into the software capabilities, the entire markets are now maybe the computer driven system, that maybe automated trading system, that in the Sri Lanka we can claim that Colombo Stock Exchange, one of the stock exchanges that maybe that started that early, maybe compared to the underdeveloped countries, that maybe that online platform, like even maybe if you take New York, traditional reasons, they still like maybe the traditional ways they run the market, but it's still that other markets in the US all are like digital platforms. So that in Colombo, like we can operate, we can buy, sell stock and all that we can do from home, that you don't want to go to anywhere, you don't want to give your call to your broker or anybody, you can do that. Therefore, digital platform that largely used by the, because that capability came because of, even I'm away from Colombo, even if I'm in London or I'm in Tokyo, I can do my transaction with the Colombo Stock Exchange. So that is the basic thing. And if you take the banking sector, also these digital capabilities gave a maybe massive maybe development to the finance and banking sector. So then what is your particular question is analytic, maybe when you come to the data, because the finance is a maybe information driven industry. So each bit of information is related to the market, like what is happening. Like maybe the historical data analysis is very important. The data, enormous amount of data, human mind alone can't support. Like therefore, I think the software capabilities help you a lot in that regard. Today, because if you take the New York Stock Exchange, thousands of stocks are listed. To anybody to do it manually, mentally, it's an impossible task. So that pick good stock as for your strategies. Maybe you can use maybe that big investors, high net worth investors, they use their assistants and their people behind them is analytical results are there, that based on that investment decisions are taken. Therefore, it's an amazing thing. It's, I think, you might not miss. Otherwise, you go by like your gut feeling and you do your investments. So today you don't want to do that, but still people maybe this gut feeling based trading is also there, but you are not always based on your report, because as I told you, because what is yesterday's report is not relevant today, because today market is updated with another set of information, because the markets are driven like that. Therefore, software, maybe people, those who are data analytics and all that, sometime late getting the immediate results in the market. When the market is open within first 2 hours, maybe something would happen. Depending on that, market will react. So therefore, sometimes that help you to analyze historical data. But on the other hand, futuristic way or the current events and all that also taken up by the markets.
Okay, that's very insightful. And I'd like to add a bit of the previous question. In your years of experience, how often are forecasting softwares accurate?
Well, there's no exact answer for that. When the market is like maybe not very much, maybe bombarded with new information and all that, maybe in the traditional ways it's going back, maybe the softwares help you not to pick good stocks and all that. And also when your investment decisions are not to make maybe day trading strategies, maybe very difficult to make the day trading strategies with the softwares. Maybe the long-term investment strategies based on the past data patterns and that thing, I think maybe more accurately can be done. When you try to make a profit get out of the market, making a profit today itself, maybe within a day, maybe you had to work with the trend in the market at that moment. So that is then is too late to get your analytics and all that to market. But only in the long-term investment strategies, I think fairly well you can do with the data science approaches and all that.
Okay, sir. Okay, we'll be back with more questions right after this short commercial break.
Building a digital product is complex, demanding, uncertain. And that's where we come in. We're a group of creative thinkers, digital product specialists, dreamers, and team players. With over 15 years in the industry, 400 innovators, 50 awards, building over 150 digital products for our global customers. We engage in your awesome idea and help bring it to life. 99X, creating impactful digital products together.
And we're back. Welcome back to the show where we have Professor P.S.M. Gunaratna illuminating us about the world of finance and economics. Continuing where we left off before the break, where do you see this field in the next decade or so? Will it be fully digitalized with little to no human input, or will humans still be in a vital cog in the machine?
I think because that is maybe that you can see more and more people are maybe using maybe more data-driven services and all that with the computer, say maybe software-based those things. But and also maybe those solutions will be cheaper in the future. So sometimes the analytical technique you without help, somebody's help, you would be able to do with yourself sometimes. That type of development will, but still that investment decisions and all that is a risky decision. So that is the where human elements come. So that you should be satisfied with the whatever the decision that you are to personally. So that is even you manage somebody else's fund. You are maybe you are the manager. You are entrusted with somebody else's fund. Your decisions are very important. But you yourself has to be satisfied with that what you are going to take decision. Therefore, it's not only that with the human element always there, because it's a risk taking. Because personally, how do you feel that decision, that recommendation? Also, it's something final decision is human. Maybe somebody human being is taking. Therefore, that part might not be able to take it out. Otherwise, what would happen? Diversity won't come. Like say, maybe all the computer programming and all that. When once it's come to this, everybody says that okay, buy this stock, and something differently. If you want to think like, then human element should come.
Presently, the Sri Lankan economy is in bad shape, that there has been a raft of countermeasures brought forward by the central bank to ameliorate the situation. What I would like to know, sir, is how long of a recovery track we are looking for at? Is it only a few years or will it take decades?
Yeah, it's a interesting, very relevant question, but a very difficult question. So this is not purely a natural disaster or anything. Like this is a kind of a wrong policy packages, wrong investment in the past, the wrong finance strategies, and also, as everybody claims, maybe corruptions. So that is that brought us to this stage. So that it is not easy to fix this economy. Like once say for example, simple thing. So now our crisis is maybe protected around that hard currency, that maybe dollars. We don't have enough dollars. Dollars are not coming to the banking system because that is now the outside market, maybe black market. Undial or other systems are very active. It is very difficult to when you don't trust the system. It is difficult for you to change the mindset of people. If you think, I think other things, or everybody thinks like the Sri Lankan economy is not going to recover, then you are scared to convert your dollars into rupees. So you don't bring the dollars to this thing. You keep as much as possible. You try to keep it somewhere else. Or sometimes because there is a outside market, black market, there is a demand, higher demand, because those who earn rupees, they want to convert into to keep their value. Maybe the rupee is depreciating every day. Why do you want to keep the rupees too much? So therefore, outside demand will be very high. So therefore, it is very difficult to fix it once again, because the confidence building is not an easy task. Therefore, other thing is, I think, very difficult at this moment is because it's the political backing is very important. Political backing is very important for this kind of fixing, this kind of to introduce a right policy package for the country. but it is very important the consensus of all the elected leaders. So they should understand this problem, and they should sit together. What are our limitations? What are the maybe that this within these available limited resources, what we could do? Maybe so much of hard measures they have to take. But hard measures may be very, very unpopular measures they have to take. But then when unpopular measures are taken by a section of elected leaders, other people started criticizing. But they don't have either a solution. Therefore, very important to have a consensus maybe of all the parties and contributing to the maybe the think tank and getting out something what is good for the country is very important. I think that is not, don't see in Sri Lanka genuinely whether we could do that with this existing parliament and all that. If they realize, political leaders of each party realize this cannot be solved by a single leader or single party alone, that everybody has to contribute. So then that day we can see a future. Otherwise, it is very difficult for us to see a future, near future, because that even to get the funding, relief funding from the IMF, we should do something. We should maybe put our house in order. So that is very difficult thing, like because the government unnecessary expenditure has to be cut, and maybe the public sector employees, too much of employees, that has to be maybe. Then also we have to look after maybe the poorest communities in the society, their packages, and also all the countries and the institution who has given us some funding on maybe the long-term loans and all that, should be ready to renegotiate them. Because if one party is not going to renegotiate, say China or India or what country, no, we don't want to renegotiate, let them to pay as they promised. So then maybe IMF is not happy with that. So that IMF want to maybe that, okay, you come up with a way that you are going to pay back these loans as maybe the rescheduling loan is very important. But that consensus, that again those who do, not the donors, those who funded those loan schemes and all that, maybe should come to a kind of common agreement there. That is also a difficult thing. It's even in African some countries where they broke, those countries also finding it difficulty. Some parties are not agreeing to those things. Therefore, then IMF package will get delayed. So that is a very difficult time. Maybe it's very difficult. I would say that can't say if at least these parliamentarian, all the political parties understand this situation, get together, because I think public also should pressurize maybe the party members of those parties also should. They are citizens of Sri Lanka after all. Before being a party member, you are a citizen of Sri Lanka. All citizens of Sri Lanka should understand this reality, and then they should realize, okay, go and sit together and try to fix this problem. So that pressure should, even maybe the Goldface, Aragale and all that, they also should pressurize that to sit together, because that anyway you are the elected people, that we have to be with the constitution and all that. So that then what we have to pressurize these people to sit together, come together, present your solution, and with the consensus. Then it is easy to implement. Otherwise, maybe very difficult, and it will take longer time.
Okay, that was insightful for the current situation. And with that, we'll go on for a short commercial break. Stay tuned in. We'll be back shortly. Hello and welcome back to the show. Being the Dean of the Faculty of Business at IIT, what are your thoughts on the cutting edge so far? Has conducting the event virtually made an impact on the students' projects from your perspective?
Yeah, that I'm also new. I'm also studying the cutting edge as a whole, because my experience with the cutting edge is very maybe not that significant to say. But the way that I understand it, it's like that is the whole campus or the whole IIT student population participating from each. From you are from yes, you are from the just joined May Batch Foundation program, and from that to maybe the level 6 students or those who are graduating, and everybody is participating together. So that more than maybe that these competitions, winning and all that personal what you are going to achieve, the participation that this campus wide activity is very important. Like what you experience, what you gain by participating, by different way contributing, organizing, and it's a maybe the teachers or the lecturers, professors, head of department, everybody is guiding you. But it is, after all, it's a student event. Students are the people who organize, and that experience is amazing. I think that wonderful experience, because this is very important, because that your classroom studying and all that is maybe at the end of the day doesn't guarantee you a good employment. Sometimes maybe that what you have, what you acquire through other maybe what you say that outside the classroom, what you acquired within your maybe that stay at the IIT, stay at the degree program, what you acquires maybe those activities is very important. Is not the per se that that individual goals, individual target, group targets, maybe winning competition is also important. I am not saying that, but more than that, whole lot of experience that this program gives across, because you are found as a foundation student, then you will be here with us another 4 years. You have the opportunity to participate again and again in this kind of thing. So that is the wonderful time that you are having with that, and that will be valued by the industry definitely. So that is why I think the IIT students stand out compared to the other institutions. Maybe I'm not saying downgrading, anyway that our students are maybe standing out in a big way.
Excellent. In your opinion, what makes IIT stand out from all the other educational institutes?
That's already I told, and the IIT is a pioneering institution who brought these British degrees to the Sri Lanka. So that also that IIT always looked for the needs of the country. Like say for example, we talked about the economic crisis that are right now what we are having. So that is the one sector in the economy is performing well in this time is the maybe softwares and IT industry and all that, because they are working for the foreign clients so that their revenues are guaranteed, and they are in demand. So therefore, even this crisis time, this sector is doing very well. So that I think the visionary leadership of our chairman, the Gamini Wickramasinghe, and at that time he thought like early 80s, that technology is taking place, and in Sri Lanka maybe very few people are interested in that. He took a risk of bringing this degree program to Sri Lanka and introduce it to the Sri Lankan market, but the graduates produced by the institute were embraced by the industry. So therefore, it's always quality-driven good programs offered to the industry, relevant program offered to. That is the, I think, success of IIT. I think as a private institution, I think maybe IIT stand out in terms of the quality graduates production, maybe in the market, local market, very high.
Okay, so at these tough times, what would you be the word of advice to all the students?
Yes, I think maybe most of there are few scholarship students and maybe sometimes Invoice calls and all that who work while working support their undergraduate program. Most of others, I think, they come with their parental financial support. So I think that your parents took a right decision in a way that educating a child at this time is very important. It's a crisis-driven time, because that our degrees are globally acceptable degrees, and a lot of our graduates are. I had the opportunity in this short period to talk to a lot of people with different occasions, and those who are working in US, in Europe, and UK and other countries. Therefore, when we are producing a because that type of graduates, the investment that your parents did into this program is the right decision. Then your responsibility is to make use that opportunity to the way that you could do the maximum return to your parents, because your parents, the educational aspirations with regard to their kids and can be fulfilled by the children only. So that if the children are not doing well, most worried parties are the parents. So therefore, I think you have to do a justice, and maybe more than saving in a bank or something, did the right investment that they did and try to reap that maybe the benefits out of that. That is the message, that if you do it well, maybe you are collecting a very good degree, because we don't have any control of this thing, that whether you get a first class or second upper or high average or like that. If you perform that well, that will be reflected in your transcripts. So that will be accepted by the industry. Therefore, try to do a good job. Try to improve your skills, not only academic line, other skills through this kind of activities as well. Then you will be a very much acceptable product to the employment market.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful session. That wraps up the show, and we hope you enjoyed this interview and found it very interesting. A very big thank you to Professor PSM Gunaratna for being kind enough to allow us an interview, and thank you all for stay tuned. We'll be back with more with ITV.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Visal Rajpaksha, and I am a final year student at IIT, and I am here to introduce Proximity, my final year research project, which is essentially a TinyML model transferring protocol for dynamic environments. So if you go looking around at people's wrists or even ears, you will see smartwatches or even smart headphones and such. So most of these devices will draw a few watts of energy for functioning. There is a new paradigm when it comes to edge computing called tiny machine learning, which focuses on bringing machine learning into the microcontroller class of devices, which are extremely resource constrained and extremely miniature. So moving on, what is proximity? Proximity is a protocol that will opportunistically transfer a TinyML model from an MCU to a central device such as a smartphone or laptop. It is also very power efficient, and it conforms to the low resources of this microcontroller unit. So opportunism is deciding on whether or not it should make a decision based on the current context. Why is proximity important to the topic of TinyML, you may ask? So first of all, MCUs are attached to with components with weak radio technology such as Bluetooth Low Energy. And most of these model updating techniques in standard smartphones or laptops will require an end-to-end connection between a server and the device, which MCUs alone might not be able to provide, mainly because of their minuscule nature, making them making them small enough to place essentially anywhere. And second, they are very low powered devices. So they run on coin cell batteries and they have a very limited power budget. So facilitating an end-to-end connection might not always be possible, and it could deplete the battery very quick. So which is why proximity or such a system or protocol is important to the context of tiny machine learning at the moment. So that's about it. So if there is anything, feel free to contact me in using my email.
NFT Rexes, a trading recommendations system for non-fungible tokens by Dinuka Piyadiga. NFTs were the biggest thing of 2021. They are provably scarce, unique digital assets that are one of a kind. Blockchain technology is used to represent the ownership of these assets. Digital artworks have taken the center stage here. The NFT market had over 3.5 billion US dollars of trading volume in January of 2022, and the entire valuation of the market was 41 billion US dollars in 2021. It's expected to grow into 147 billion by 2026. On the other hand, recommendation systems have been driving engagement and consumption of content and items on every corner of the internet for the last decade. The reason for this is that it reduces information overload. And Amazon's revenue, apparently 35% of it comes from recommendation systems, and 60% of YouTube watch time comes from recommendation systems. The problem identified here was that there was no recommendation system for NFT item recommendations, and it was very difficult to find and recommend relevant, trending, and timely items to users. Collaborative filtering, which has been the gold standard of recommendations for the last decade, can't be taken as the only model here, because by the time one NFT has been viewed by many users, it may be too late for another user to come and purchase that item. In recent literature, it has been revealed that Amazon had also identified that people prefer to watch recently released movies over highly rated old ones. Therefore, they came up with a deep learning model to recommend at least 2 movies that were released recently. This gave the motivation to the author to work towards the trends-based recommendations model. Another reason identified to work towards this research was that there was no previous research related to NFTs. Therefore, there was a lot of work that had to go in to identifying which factors that could be used to recommend NFTs. The aim of the project was to design, develop, and evaluate a novel recommendation architecture that will provide relevant, trending, timely, and worthy NFTs for trading purposes by automating some of the decision-making steps that the user would otherwise have to do manually. These are the research contributions made in this project. Thank you for taking your time to listen to my project.
Hi, my name is Roshan Oscar Subramaniam, and I am a level 6 student of the BIS degree program in IIT. This is my final year project, and it's titled Sleepline. You might wonder what Sleepline stands for. Sleepline is a mobile application built for people who face insomnia. Insomnia has been a rapidly growing condition within a lot of people, especially youngsters. And this condition has affected a lot of lifestyle of people. The main reasons that were identified causing insomnia during my research were excess use of technology, because people use the mobile phone way more than the time limit that they have to use for, excess intake of caffeine or coffee, or even stress, anxiety, and wrong food patterns, and different type of work shifts. So to overcome these, I also identified 3 different types of insomnia, or 3 different stages. They are level 1 acute, level 2 transient, and level 3 chronic. Acute and transient are short term, while long term is chronic. And when I wanted to build my application, there were some features that I wanted to implement, and these are the features, some of the features that I have implemented in the application. Calculating insomnia level and predicting therapies according to the categorization that was done in the rule-based machine learning model, and then a sleep tracker that would track sleep manually, and then scheduling appointments with doctors, which is another main feature. And then you can also listen to music, where you will be able to press the music icon and it will direct you to music that you can listen and fall asleep to. And from the doctor portal, you can upload medical records.
This is Krishna Kripa Jayakumar, and this is my pitch for Xavier, a visually interpretable forensic deepfake detection toolkit using anchors. Deepfakes have seen a dramatic rise over the recent years and have had the potential to give a whole new meaning to cybercrimes such as identity theft and non-consensual pornography and social engineering. To tackle this, a new research area called deepfake detection has gained a lot of traction over the recent years. Though promising headway has been made, Current works suffer from a huge drawback where these solutions only classify a video as a deepfake without giving any explanation for why that prediction was made. Such works fail in situations where explainability and transparency behind a tool's decision is crucial, especially in a court of law, where the court may demand justifications or reasons for why a video is a deepfake. So this is where Xavier comes in. Xavier provides a toolkit for digital forensic experts and investigators to efficiently analyze an uploaded video, predict if it was a deepfake, and also get explanations behind why the tool predicted it as a deepfake. This is monumental in the field of deepfake detection research, as it is one of the only few research that has been conducted into providing explainability to deepfake detection works and which has approached the problem from a digital forensic viewpoint. Xavier uses a custom-built state-of-the-art deep learning deepfake detector to perform predictions on a deepfake video to an accuracy of 92%. The uniqueness of Xavier majorly involves the use of a prediction explainer that is built on top of the Anchor's algorithm that can visually pinpoint the areas of forgery in the deepfake video. So what makes Xavier unique? What makes it unique is that there are no readily available interpretable deepfake detection toolkits catered to digital forensic experts available anywhere globally or in Sri Lanka, which makes Xavier the first toolkit that can provide forensic experts a platform to conduct productive and effective investigations on deepfake videos. Xavier Toolkit also runs on top of the Xavier API, which is an interpretable deepfake detection API that can be used to visually interpret areas of forgery in the deepfake video. Such an API has not been developed before for open use, which makes it the first such interpretable deepfake detection API available for the public. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Amisha Vithanage and I am a level 6 student following the BIS degree program at IIT. My final year project is Fortify. Fortify is an application that is implemented to enhance the parental engagement of parents employed in the IT industry with children undergoing stress, anxiety and depression. Parents, as you know, play a vital role in the lives of the children. However, for parents employed in the IT industry, this is quite challenging because of their busy schedules and tight deadlines. The situation worsens when their child is diagnosed with a mental health condition, stress, anxiety, or depression. So now let us look at what causes poor parental engagement of employed parents in the IT industry with kids undergoing stress, anxiety, and depression. Through thorough research, 5 such sub-problems have been identified. The first is that the inability in understanding the need for positive engagement, unwillingness to accept the problem, the inability to strike a work-life balance, economic challenges, and overwhelmed by achieving personal goals. Therefore, to overcome this problem, Fortify is introduced. Fortify has the following features. Determination of the condition, that is, amongst stress, anxiety or depression. Conduct voice analysis to increase the accuracy of the result and to check whether the child is undergoing through a mental health condition. Create planners for the parent with a set of activities. Read articles of the diagnosed mental health condition. Rate individual tasks that is provided in each planner. And for the admin is able to view user analytics.
Welcome. My name is Ashmat Vijay Gunatilaka and I will be introducing my project to you. So the project title is as follows: AutoMID, a novel framework for automated computer diagnosis of medical images. So the problem domain can be defined as follows. Quick diagnosis is required in time-critical situations, and machine learning models can be used to quickly analyze a medical image and produce a diagnosis. However, Building reliable and trustworthy machine learning models requires extensive knowledge in data science as well as time to retrain the model to improve its accuracy and speed. So the existing systems can be divided as follows: computer-aided diagnosis systems and clinical decision support systems. So after doing an extensive review of the available systems, the gap was reduced as follows. Automated machine learning technologies such as hyperparameter tuning and neural architecture search have not been applied to automate the process of producing machine learning models, which could be used to diagnose medical images. Hence, also I would like to mention that the research motivation actually came during COVID-19, where the hospitals were flooded and the doctors were finding it difficult to cope. So the proposed solution is as follows. So the radiologist would select a dataset and the system would perform neural architecture search and hyperparameter tuning on the dataset and output a trained neural network. Next we have the clinician, doctor or the radiologist, who would upload the X-ray, and then the system would use that X-ray and the previously trained neural network to produce a diagnosis. So the use cases are as follows. You have the COVID-19. During the COVID-19, the hospitals were flooded, as I mentioned, and one of the best ways of diagnosing COVID-19 was by looking at chest X-rays. So this system actually can diagnose between normal or pneumonia or COVID-19, and it all depends on the dataset. So given a dataset, it can easily produce diagnoses for different diseases. Finally, we have the UK healthcare system, which is the GP system, and in this system it will help because the radiologist can train the model and allow the GPs who don't have specialist knowledge to produce a diagnosis for a particular chest X-ray. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. Thank you for listening.